Hello there. In schools, you learn important things. Reading, writing, arithmetic. Nobody would argue that you shouldn't ever learn those. When it comes to finances though, nada, nothing. We're going to talk today about what you learn in financial literacy. So stay tuned as we cover that topic next. Well, we're going to be talking about financial literacy. We better be clear on what it is we're talking about. Then we also want to be talking about why kids aren't getting it or what's missing in that. And the importance of habits and mindset. Those things all have to be part of this conversation. So we'll be covering those and more coming right up. So financial literacy, there's fundamental things, categories that you're going to be teaching. So if you're taking a financial literacy test, what are they testing you on? Well, to begin with is understanding the idea of budgeting, right? And it's about not just understanding your income, but really getting an appreciation for where it all needs to go. A lot of times kids get through school, people get through school, they really don't appreciate all the expenses, right? They don't have a clear picture of everything that's required to live on their own. So they sort of get the idea of budgeting, but they can't really plan ahead because they don't fully appreciate and understand all the different components that go into that. So that's one. Along with that, it's this whole idea of borrowing money and credit scores. And they might hear that, oh, you need to have a good credit score. So get this credit card and start, using it and then paying it off. That will build up your credit score. And they don't really understand what all that means. And there's also this whole push about borrow money, spend money, right? Pay it right off. And that can be a very dangerous thing if you don't fully understand what the whole idea of credit and interest rates and how all that works. Along with that is the idea of saving money and investing it, right? How do you invest it? What's the best way to do? How much do you want to be involved in investing? What's the best way to take money out so that you're putting it away for a rainy day? And what do you do with that to maximize your return? Those things are all part. Then what about managing your risk and insurance? What insurance do you need to have? What insurance should you have? And what about some of these insurances every time you buy a product? Oh, get this extra extended warranty and get this and pay a little bit more for that. Understanding all that is really important. And last is planning it out, right? Putting it all together and developing a financial plan for yourself. That is what goes into financial literacy. So we really need to ask a question is, why are most students leaving school with really no financial understanding whatsoever? Well, they aren't being taught those things, right? There's only 24 states that require any sort of financial literacy as part of the curriculum. You've got standardized tests. You got to meet these math standards, these reading standards, and these science standards. You don't even need, in a lot of states, they don't even require citizenship type understanding. There are people coming in here immigrating and have to pass a citizenship test. High school students can't even pass that. So we don't do anything really on those social science skills, of which economics and finances would kind of fall into that area. We aren't making it a priority. And if we don't prioritize it, and we don't build it into a curriculum, and we don't offer it in the schools, then kids really have no idea how to read paychecks. They have no idea about any of those areas that go into financial literacy. And then they go out in the work world and they start making this money and they end up digging themselves a hole because they don't really fully appreciate what it takes to manage their finances and manage their budgets. In the work I do in any areas, whether it's academics or athletics, or even working with entrepreneurs, I'm talking all the time about habits and crucial habits to get into. These are mindset-related habits, but the principle of creating habits are crucial when it comes to financial literacy and understanding finances and managing your finances. And I've struggled getting my own children to understand those habits, right? So there's one, the knowledge of what you are supposed to do, should do, can do. It's important for them to learn that. But you've got to help them build the habits. So as a young adult, right, my son's working now, and he'll get things in the mail that he won't even open. There's no regular routine of sitting down, making sure he's balancing checkbooks, making sure, budgeting, planning. There's money that comes out. He does take money automatically is coming out, going in like his 401k, those things for retirement. He knows he's got some insurance to pay, rent. Beyond that, there's nothing, and there's no, everything's done electronically. There's no sitting down, there's no planning, there's no watching. Now, I will take full responsibility, like, all right, I needed to help build habits around that. I saw my dad do that almost literally every night as part of his habits and routines. Was after dinner and all that, he'd go into his little office space and he'd start dealing with finances and investments, and he'd track that. And I remember showing him spreadsheets and things that he used to keep. I had a good model. Now my kids saw me do that, but somewhere I didn't help them build the habit, right? You gotta help train people to build these habits. You would expect for me to have a segment on mindset as the mindset champion. And of course, mindset's crucial in helping young people, any of us, to really begin to grasp finances. In particular, we want to begin to understand what these beliefs are and even emotions that we have attached to concepts. Things like the word itself, money, right? What sort of connotations do we associate with that? What beliefs do we have around that? Wealth and poverty, those two that kind of go along with that. What are our beliefs about wealth and poverty? What are our understandings of what creates it and how we get it? What are your beliefs around work? You need to kind of do an inventory of this and discover what these are. A lot of people have these limiting beliefs about money, that they are just going to be a working class person and they'll never be able to accumulate any wealth, and only rich people get wealthy, right? The rich get richer, the poor get poorer, that kind of concept. Well, when you have beliefs around that, that does not serve you well in understanding how to actually create wealth for yourself. And if you don't think it's possible for you to create wealth for yourself, then you won't really be able to take the actions necessary to do so. And the emotions that you have attached to it. There's a whole lot of stress sometimes people carry with the whole idea and concepts of wealth or creating wealth, right? They don't want to become one of those rich snob types, right? They have this association for what happens when you accumulate wealth. And they don't want that. Those beliefs, those emotions and things, you need to do an inventory of. We need to get rid of those ones that limit you and install ones that open up a lot more possibilities. Well, that just wraps up another video on this all-important topic about financial literacy. And obviously, there's really important ideas about mindset that's woven into this. I would encourage you to check out and subscribe to our channel, because there's lots of videos and lots of different topics. We've got this series now going on financial literacy. I would encourage you to check out the video in particular, why isn't financial literacy taught in schools? And then come back and check out another video.